there are two elements of personalization. The first element of personalization is having the data. And here is where AI is going to help many companies and many operators to be able to run through very quickly the analytics of particularly their regular guests and their high spending guests. So you need to use
Mhm.
these tools. AI is moving from just pulling large amounts of data to agentic AI, which means there will be
Yes.
agents in our software that are able to do specific things to say, right, tell me the customers whose spend has declined over the last 12 months and who are at risk of churn because you define churn as someone maybe hasn't visited in 3 months. And
Yes.
AI will be able to very quickly give you not just the data set, but the pattern around which this is taking place. And sometimes when clients are churning, it could be for personal reasons, they've moved away from the location. Sometimes it's your product or service that is not right. And AI will help you with understanding this. So I think that's a very important tool. The second part of what I think is happening in our world today is around personalization. Personalization is very complex in some way to identify and analyze. It's actually easier to deliver because it involves the human touch in our business. Hospitality is about that human engagement and that human touch. And don't rely on technology to deliver personalization. Rely on technology to identify who you need to treat and how you need to treat them. Because when I've seen operators saying, "I will just throw a QR code on the desk, on the table, and leave it to them to pay," I think that's a retrograde step in the customer experience journey. I think QR codes are right for certain type of operations. They're right with a certain generational group, and they're right in certain situations. I'm going to the theater, I want to pay quickly. But I think as a general rule, I would say do not lose that personal engagement with your client, which you can have through technology and quick service through a good kiosk experience.
Yes.
All right. So technology can play an important role, but it depends on the sector of the market and the type of service as to how that technology should be relied on and should be evolved.
You've touched on AI there,
Mhm.
and it's obviously a massive area we hear a lot about. How is that evolving in your business, and how important is it to your business, or how important will it be to your business going forward?
It is already very important. So we have some really good AI technology in our guest experience portfolio. We're also adding some great AI technology in our point of sale portfolio, where the level of prompting that you will get for the operator and the server, because I think that's the big area at the front of house. The information available through analytics a week later is no good. I need to know now that this experience of my client sitting in that particular table is not going very well. So we're building the agents that are going to be able to interrogate wait times, maybe some menu and order changes that have taken place, which you think, something's not quite right there. Let me, as the leader of this business, go to the table and actually ask the question, how are you doing? I see you've changed 3 times. Did you get the right advice? Can we do anything to help you so that you have good experience? So we're building smaller agents. So the large language AI stuff is kind of done now. It's in our analytics, area. Now we're looking at very specific use cases as to how they can help the restaurateur at the front end in a dynamic way through the front end technology. And then at the
Mhm.
back end, we're looking at, okay, you've now dined. Have we asked you for a review? Have we asked you for feedback? When can we expect you to be dining again based on our computation and our forecasting? And if you don't dine for 3 months after that, we need to do something proactive, not transactional, but proactive.
Yeah, great. I just want to touch back on loyalty and promos, because we touched on it earlier. But obviously our plan to plate report had a lot of data around use of loyalty schemes, use of
It was very
promos.
good
So,
data, by the way, which I enjoyed reading.
thank you. Thank you for supporting it again. So we saw, I'm just going to read off my screen because I can never remember all the stats. 28% of customers currently participate in a pub, bar, or restaurant loyalty scheme. And if they get that scheme right, 42% of those customers will visit more often than they currently do. Now, I'm just going reflecting back on what you said earlier about loyalty schemes. They're not the be all and end all, but how did that data resonate with you?
I think that's a fairly good summary, but that is a generic summary. It doesn't take
Yes.
it down to customer segments. Are we talking about first visits? Are we talking about regular customers? Are we talking about high spend customers? I think when you look at these things, you really need to dig into the customer segmentation piece. You can't make an excuse today. Good data is available if it's entered correctly and if it's used correctly to the analytical tools. So the days when we put things on spreadsheets are gone. We're putting all the data, we're capturing all that data largely in real time. We have the tools today through analytics to get that out and use it well. And if we're doing that, I think, we can deliver that experience and loyalty program well. I'll say one caution on loyalty. Even when it's transactional, ask the question, which I see many people not asking. What would be the impact of not providing this incentive on this day to this value on this product line to this customer? Try and get an honest answer to that question because it has a big impact on your bottom line.